Kia ora, Ali. Thank you so much for being here and speaking with me. So we'll just jump straight into it. So to start with, would you mind please telling me a little bit about yourself, your role as a teacher, and your connection to the We Can Keep Safe program?
Awesome. Ngā mihi, I can. So I first found out and participated in the We Can Keep Safe program with my eldest son when he was at Play Centre. So since then, I've participated in the program 4 times as a parent through Play Centre. When our youngest daughter was at kindergarten, and we actually asked permission from the Play Centre to return for the We Can Keep Safe program. Because we really felt that it was vital for our tamariki to have the opportunity to participate. And I think then, now that I'm teaching in kindergarten, I think we're running the program here at our kindergarten for the 4th time.
And that's over the last 4 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
So each year, so we run it annually, even though many of our tamariki are with us for 2 years, so they may participate in the program twice. We do find that others only have their one opportunity, so we think it's really important to have it annually.
And you mentioned that your own children took part in the program, so a few years ago. What do you remember most about that experience for them and for you as a parent?
So what I do remember is when Play Centre first spoke with us about the program, my husband and I were really unsure. We really didn't know how comfortable we were having these conversations with our tamariki. Our eldest tamariki were 4 and 2 at the time. Really didn't know whether it was important to have those conversations, and came away from that parent information evening feeling like it was probably one of the most important things that we would do to keep our children safe ever. And so this sounds a bit funny, but we wanted the program so much for all of our tamariki that when our second son became 4 and Play Centre was ready to run the program, unfortunately at that time we didn't have the ability to use the Play Centre space because we were loaning it out to another group. So for that program, we ran it at my house.
Oh my gosh.
So the program is that important to us as a whānau that we decided that in order to run it at a time when everybody could attend, we would run it at our house. And so we did.
How many kids?
I think, thinking back on it, I think there were about 10 4-year-olds and extra under 4s and toddlers and babies and mums and dads and aunties. It was big and it was busy, but it was really important, so we did it.
So why do you think We Can Keep Safe is still so important today, both for preschoolers and their families?
So from participating in the program, I understand that it opens the door for whānau and parents to discuss difficult topics like safety and yes feelings and no feelings. But just by the very nature of the program, by it being story-based, songs, it touches on things like healthy food, general safety, road safety, travelling in the car, safety in your own home. And then, of course, there's the magic of Jude and Toby. Jude is an incredibly skilled facilitator. She never ceases to surprise me. I feel like I should know the program off by heart by now after so many times attending. And every time she comes, she's changed it just a little bit. I don't know whether she does it to keep me interested or not, but she's changed it just a little bit. And she's kept the program current over a period of what I assume must be more than 20 years.
25 years. Yeah. 25
yeah.
years. So it's the 30-year anniversary of We Can Keep Safe this year, but Jude, 25 years, yeah.
Oh, wow, amazing. So over 25 years, she has kept it current, but she still brings back things that kind of speak to me as an educator and that speak to the tamariki. And then, of course, there's Toby. Jude will, if you ever talked with Jude, she'll probably tell you that the first time Toby comes to the session, he always says hi to me, and I always have a little bit of a blush because I'm so excited that he remembers me and my tamariki. But
Toby's. So have we said he's the puppet? I don't know if we.
Yeah. So Toby is the puppet. He's going to have his 5th birthday very soon. He's probably the longest running almost 5-year-old that I know. But he's so great. He's almost the same, around about the same size as the tamariki at kindergarten who are participating in the program. And he really acts as a mirror for the messages of the program. Tamariki are kind of led to a self-exploration of the messages through Toby's experiences. He's got marvelous red hair. He's just fabulous. And yeah, the program is just incredible. Tamariki, it's so accessible for tamariki, and in part putting all the content there and having Jude and Toby to facilitate it just creates an incredibly powerful program.
And from your perspective as a teacher, what difference does it make when children learn those safety messages earlier on?
I think as a teacher, it's really important for us to carry on reinforcing the messages of the program. So I feel that the program shouldn't just be a 1 or 5 weeks and then we wait for another year. I feel that it's really important that if we're doing our job as teachers and we keep reinforcing, it just normalizes that for tamariki, for children, they can just say, stop it, I don't like it, that's giving me a no feeling. The more they practice that in a safe place like kindergarten and in their homes with trusted adults, the more confident they are to do it, and the more that if they're ever in a situation where they really need to use those skills, they've had a lot of practice.
And are there any specific moments or stories that you could share on the impact that that this program has had on children and or caregivers involved?
Well, we know from our experience of having run the program where some tamariki attend for 2 years, we know that they remember the stories, they remember the songs, they remember the messages, and they'll often revisit them. And sometimes I feel a bit sorry for Jude because she'll start to tell a story and they're like, we know what's going to happen. We remember. But something that we've really enjoyed doing is having the children draw pictures, put their own words to the stories, kind of they're almost retelling the stories but reframing them in a way where they're giving voice to what is happening. They are reinforcing the messages. And we find that when we share those on a regular basis with tamariki, whānau are saying, oh, so-and-so was talking about the story about Emma and the lion in her room again. Thank you for reminding us that it's important for us to keep talking about that.
Cool. And as a mother looking back as well, what impact do you think the program had on your own children as they grew up? How many kids did you have participate in the program?
We had 4, two boys and 2 girls. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, as I sort of mentioned prior to the program, we felt really worried about it, and we had a discussion before we went to the parent evening, and we sort of went, oh, is this really important for our boys? We don't feel like they would ever be at risk. But going to the parent whānau, the information session, reinforced for us that all children are at risk until they have the skills to be able to keep themselves safe or to support them to keep themselves safe, keep telling, keep communicating, and be confident in doing that. I certainly feel that and I especially notice it as my girls get into their teens. They have been, they're very confident in talking about what is okay and what is not okay. And I noticed it as my boys went through their teens as well. They were very clear about that's not okay. And we're actually telling our parents about that because, you know, many teens sort of see things or hear things that they feel are not okay, but don't tell. Whereas when our teenagers have seen or witnessed things that they have felt are not okay, yeah, they've told us. And they've been very clear about where that sits for them.
And so, yeah, I think, yeah, you mentioned before that many parents worry about how to have these conversations. And what would you say to them about why it's so important, especially coming up over the holiday period where there can be increased risks of harm to children?
I think one of the most important things to be coming out of, in terms of coming out of the program, in terms of that, is that children and tamariki identifying who is a trusted adult. Who can they tell who they can trust? Who, if that person doesn't listen, how do they keep telling? That's probably the most powerful session for me as a parent and kaiako, is because I feel that tamariki who can't identify who that trusted person is, and they don't have the confidence or don't understand about keeping on telling, they're actually in the most danger.
And so HELP delivers We Can Keep Safe to preschools across Tamaki Makaurau, also extending up into Whangarei in Northland. Why do you think it's vital that this program continues to be funded and available to everyone?
Unfortunately, the statistic on tamariki being abused or experiencing unwelcome attention, they're not changing. So I've been a teacher for a long period of time as well before I became a parent. So, you know, I should have felt confident having these conversations with my tamariki. It shouldn't have been something that I was concerned about discussing. But I didn't feel I had the skills. I didn't have the words to use. I didn't have the kind of framework to support me having these discussions. Now, statistics aren't changing, and there's many, many parents out there who are, you know, in the same position as I was. You know, they don't have the skills, they don't have the confidence, or, you know, no one ever talked about it with them. So, you know, they won't talk about it with their children, which just means that nothing will ever change. So that's why I think the program is really important, because it means we have those conversations, we talk with our children about it, children are empowered, and that means that things can begin to change. But unless every child has the opportunity to participate, then things will stay much the same.
Yeah, 1000%. And if you could share one message with our community this Christmas about keeping children safe, what would that be?
It's kind of a long message, but my
We've got time.
message my message to parents is know who your tamariki, your children, are with. Trust your own feelings, know your yes and no feelings, and trust those. Empower your children to talk about yes and no feelings, and empower them to keep telling.
It wasn't too long a message. I thought that was very concise and very clear and really powerful and important. So, yeah. And last question for now is, what would you say to someone considering donating to Help's Holiday Appeal to support the continuation of our We Can Keep Safe preschool program, as well as our child and family therapy service?
So I really believe that donations. And so say someone was considering to give a donation, I think what I would say is that your donation actually will help save a child from unwanted sexual attention. You will be making a difference by supporting this program and keeping all of our children in Tamaki Makaurau and hopefully one day in Aotearoa safe.
Thank you so much for your time, Ellie.